Imagine my anticipation of getting away for a week at this beautiful mountaintop retreat that my friend gifted me with for a vacation. Well, I drove to the airport only to discover that my plane had been delayed 2 hours. No problem. Instead of getting to Tennessee at 8:15, I got there at 10:15. Got my rent-a-car, and then I had to drive an hour and a half to get up here to this beautiful place. But I had to get a hotel for the first night before I could check in here because it wasn't available the first night. But I quickly discovered there were no rooms, no vacancies, and so I was quickly advised to drive to Boone, North Carolina, which was another 45 minutes. Well, I drove down to Boone. There was supposed to be plenty of hotels available, only to discover there were none, no vacancies. College was starting the next day, and all the parents and students were there for orientation. And so I quickly discovered at 1 o'clock in the morning that there was no room in the inn. And so I drove to the local Walmart only to discover that I wasn't the only one spending the night in the back seat of my rental car. Well, my accommodations, though very uncomfortable, paled in comparison to a story that I remember reading about, and that's Joseph and Mary when they too traveled to Bethlehem and find no room in the inn. You remember, they could only find a stable, a manger, a smelly stable, and Jesus was laid in a feeding trough for animals. Not the kind of place that any of us would like to be born, much less give birth, ladies. And so my journey and the story of Mary and Joseph's experience, unable to find a room, reminded me of Jesus' invitation to us as Christians, where he said in Revelations 3:20, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him and he with me." Now that's written to Christians, not the unregenerate. And so the question I leave with you today is very simple but profoundly important. Is there any room for Jesus in your heart and life? Jesus does not force his way into our behavioral expressions and decisions. He makes his presence known to us by knocking at our heart's door. And only those who hear his voice and open the door that are receptive to him. So what will Jesus find in your life today? Is there any room in your life for him? Will you allow Christ to be your life? Or is there no room in the inn?